Copyright disclaimer. Under Title 17 U.S.C. Section 107, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips a balance in favor of fair use. Okay, guys, this is part 2. I really don't like doing this, breaking up stuff into 2 parts, and chances are you guys won't come for this part 2. So I'll have to get a different recorder. So I'm going to finish off where I left. In late 2010, Adrian Kelsey decided to rescue his son. He invited us to document his attempt and inform police of his plans to go to the compound and demand his son's release. He had protest signs ready if they refused to let him come out. When Shane came out to meet his father, it was the first time they'd seen each other in 4 years. I believe, by law, the parents are entitled to take their children out. So any Scientology parents or ex-husbands or ex-wives or whomever, I believe in most countries, by law, you have the right to take your children out. Shane and Adrian were followed by Scientology enforcers, so Shane reluctantly returned to the compound to avoid trouble. 1 week later, he was sent to work near the compound's boundary and made a break for it. Scientology have no right to mess with family, said Adrian Kelsey. It took Shane 14 months to shake off Scientology, discover the truth, learn about the real world, and tell his story. That's deprogramming. One thing that would be good is if they actually just stood up and said, sorry, it wasn't right, we're going to change it. But that's just not going to happen, Adrian said. Doesn't that sound like Rinder or Rathburn? Peter O'Brien, who lived at the RPF base between 1997 and 2000, confirmed Shane's account of the appalling conditions. So essentially, for police officers that don't understand the law, that means they're collecting evidence of crimes. In case you guys didn't you dirty cops. I'm not talking about the good cops. You do 2 hours of work, then you go and study for 2.5 hours in the RPF, which is a child prison. It was 5 hours, and then you go to work again, hard labor. Picking with a rock pick, chipping away at rocks till they erode, O'Brien said. Reminds me of that dirty cop, dirty LAPD cop that was, both of them that were standing right next to that poor indentured servitude security guard who we're not sure is a minor, but he looks very young. Now a successful architectural designer. Oh, good. O'Brien believes Scientology has nothing of value to offer the community. Close it down, doors shut, all the staff members going back to their families and living their lives, O'Brien said. Ditto. All of the ex-Scientologists all say the same thing. That's not a coincidence. I was there for 10 years, all up in the Church of Scientology as a staff member, and how could I inflict that on my children, which I'll forever feel like I have to make up, she said. Oh, so that's the mother. Well, kudos to her for admitting she made a mistake and she imposed abuse onto her children, or her child. I know it's hard, you guys, I know, because mind control is strong. Perth-based lawyer Granine O'Donovan has devoted her time and expertise to helping survivors of the cult seeking justice. There's not a law in New South Wales that makes it illegal to work a child for those hours. Oh, wow. That's extraordinary, but that's the case, O'Donovan said. You guys know who run the world, right? O'Donovan has also campaigned with the internet-based activist group Anonymous that has raised awareness about Scientology. This is degrading and inhumane treatment, O'Donovan said. At some level, they, Scientologists, have become convinced, I suppose, that it's appropriate and that the group is more important than the individual, she said. That's a hive mind stuff. RPF bases like the Sydney compound exist in other countries. Those who've escaped from them tell similar stories of having fingers broken on the orders of the leader of Scientology, screamed at and slapped for 20 hours straight, whilst having cold water poured over their head and much more. Who cares about those adults? I don't care. Independent federal senator Nick Xenophon, hero, has championed a campaign to shed light on the darkness at the heart of this group. Shane's story is one of shocking abuse, child abuse. It's one of a child being enslaved, Senator Xenophon said. The authorities need to investigate this urgently. This is something that requires police investigation. LAPD? Clearwater, you hear that? Hello? Police investigation? What makes this worse is that the organization is being subsidized by Australian taxpayers because it doesn't pay any tax. Hello? Meanwhile, Shane has his father back, yet his mother, Leslie, remains inside Scientology. Okay, sorry guys, I don't know who was showing remorse earlier. Maybe it was his dad. I screwed that up. I hope she hears word of this and sums up the courage to actually find it and watch it, Shane said. She will have to escape. They won't let her go. Leaving's not an option, so she will have to escape, Shane said. The Church of Scientology refused to be interviewed, of course, for the story. In a written response, Scientology denied any mistreatment of its members, as they always do, Darvo. The response also declared that anyone on the program is there because they want to be there. Lies. And they're what is that called? Plausible deniability? And that they are completely free to withdraw at any time during induction or later. Yeah, that's why they've got barbed wire over their apartments, right? That's why they got 10 cameras per 20 feet, right? That's why, because everybody's free to go any time they want. When Shane left the church in late 2010, he simply got his bag and walked out the door, said the statement. See, Tori Magoo always says to you guys, just walk out. I would say don't even deal with the police, to be honest. The celebrities used to advertise Scientology likely have little idea, I don't believe that, have little idea that people like Shane Kelsley even exist, but now they do. I don't believe that. Adrian and Shane hope they do something about it for the sake of other families. Senator Xenophon says he's taking the story to Bill Shorten, the federal minister for workplace relations. How about that? How about that? So anyways, you guys, I really hope you listen to part 2. I'll put the link in the description. I got some more coming today. I'm really on a roll. So have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. Peace, and thank you for listening.